better health, where stillness meets transformation. I am your host, Shreya. Tonight's guest is none other than Dr. Victoria Rader, best selling author, possibility coach, and founder of You to Shine, a pioneer of quantum personal development and a soulful architect of peace. Victoria's teaching have reached from CNN to the moon. Today, she will guide us into what it really means to take a quantum leap to peace, not by escaping the chaos, but by transforming through it with most potent force we have, that is love. So, welcome, Victoria.
Thank you so much, Shreya. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, and I'm honored to have you on my show. So, let's begin. That Victoria, you have built a global movement around quantum development. What does quantum peace truly mean, and how is it different from peace, what we usually chase?
I think in personal development, you are constantly changing your skills, you are working on your mindset, which are wonderful things. But the assumption is that you're developing towards something. You are developing yourself to be deserving or matching or receiving something, to set a goal and to achieve it.
Yeah,
In quantum personal development and the peace, the assumption is that you are of infinite worth. And your biggest job is to quantum leap deep into that infinite worth, to be aware of divine love within your heart. And as you truly are, and it's not just the words, but a feeling, the energy, the frequency, when you are still within yourself, then you expand that stillness, and that peace then becomes your passion, brings you purpose, and the profitability is a natural outpouring and the flow.
yeah, yeah. Uh, that's true. And was there a moment in your life that catalyzed this mission to help others leap into peace?
I think it's very important. There is this theory. There are books written, there are marketing branding books written. It's called a hero journey, where my life was bad and then this happened and now live happily ever after. And what I find is that it's just a big fat lie. There isn't one moment. They're catalysts, they're choices, but the truth is every single day, without an exception, if you're human,
Yeah,
you're going to have moments of panic and anxiety and
yeah,
frustration. They're going because we are all one. And being all one, you could literally have somebody on the other side of the globe have
yeah,
something happen to them and you feel the energy. And so I think that's important for me to say that what I'm describing is a catalyst, but it's not a once and done. It's not like once my moment comes, then I'm forever peaceful.
yeah,
Because that is an unattainable, anxious idea. And
yeah,
so I think it's very important to know that. And so for me, I think the one that comes right now was when I was a young mother. My daughter is now 27, which I find ironic. I'm like, I'm 28 and she's 27. That's very
yeah,
strange. But, my daughter is 27. And when she was first born, I remember laying in the bedroom and we were so broke financially that we didn't even have curtains. I was laying there feeling completely unequipped. I felt that I had nothing. I had no skills. I was hormonally depressed. I had no money. And I just laid there holding this little precious bundle thinking, I'm supposed to be happy and I'm completely distraught. And then the guilt came in. And in that moment, for me, because of my background, an idea came in that, Christ was born in a stable with nothing. But the concept that came in immediately was he had more than enough. And at that moment, I realized that an idea of peace is that I have more than enough. And the idea of panic is I need more. So it's super easy. When you feel your thoughts going for I need more, watch your emotions and the anxiety will follow. It's just that simple. But when you say what I have is more than enough, and then I expand from what I have and I support what I have, then it's a peaceful movement. And that was just a huge awareness to lay there and be like, I have more than enough. I have more than enough.
yes. I think it's a basic human quality that we always complain about. We don't have that, we don't have this. But now I think we should be happy because of what we have and not complaining about what we don't. Because many people may not have that also what we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do find that to be the loss of peace. I believe
Mm.
an idea of I need more, that's simple. You fill
Yeah.
in, I need more health, more money, more love. If you hear your mind structure, I need more, you're heading for chaos and anxiety. So, like, imagine a stop sign and
Yeah.
say, stop, turn around, look inside and outside, and reframe. I have more than enough. It's very powerful.
Yes. So for the listeners, you have to remember that you are more than enough. And Victoria, also your framework includes something you call love, that is love originating originating vibrant emotions. Sorry for my mistake. How do you help people access that kind of high frequency living in day-to-day chaos?
We actually have very powerful tools during our through our quantum freedom subscription. For the reason that I've mentioned, it's not a one-time thing, right? You need to be exposed to love to know what it feels like to create receptors to receive love. So I'm having this water bottle here. It's a cool example, I think. You can have love being given to you and poured over you, but if you're not open to receive it, you feel there is no love, and that is a true statement for every human being that lacks love. It's not because it's not offered. It's because they don't know how to remove the cap to receive it. And I think when you block love, you block capacity to create. So our acronym for love is life originating vibrant emotion. God is love, God is light, universe is love, universe is light, creation is love and light. We create, and we now know on quantum level, it's fascinating. When the baby is first conceived, when the two cells meet, there is a quantum spark of light. We begin our physical life with a spark of light, right? And that to me is an expression of love moment, of life beginning as such, beginning a new form.
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely true. Um, and Another question comes to my mind for this, like, can someone really learn to vibrate higher in the middle of grief or maybe fear?
It's so fascinating to me. I'm going to do this for your audience. It's going to be fun because it's a completely intuitive app. One of our apps is called Empower Me. And if you like this experiment, it's only $20 a year and it's found at empowerme.love. We're talking of love. One of the subsets on that app is called My Grief. What I found is there are 99 aspects of grief. There are probably more, but I found out 99 in my practice. And subconsciously, if you don't have that aspect processed, it blocks your capacity to manifest. So you can have love and peace and joy through grief. But if you are not honoring and releasing grief, then you're stuck. So it's an intuitive app. I'm going to click on my grief. We're going to shake the phone. We're going to tune into the audience. And for the audience, I will read a very quick healing activation. Wow. So most of in your audience are feeling unsupported right now. I don't know about
Okay.
you, but the feeling of unsupported is what came through. And so you have to validate first the feeling so you can release it. You would say, even with many trying to support me, I still feel completely unsupported. Then we're going to do visualization and the healing of the brain. With your eyes closed, imagine as if you're falling through space, completely unsupported, only to land in a beautiful cloud of comforting energy. Feel its support and carry you. Feel and see the hands of many others reaching up to support you in this cloud. And now affirm with your hand on your heart. My receptors for support are now activated. I know how to receive the support I seek. I'm supported and supportive. I'm hopeful. I am me. And so may this be an invitation for your listeners to share the miracles that'll happen for them. Because I know that when you release an aspect like that and you activate it, shifts are instantaneous. So that's how you shift the frequency by
Yes.
validating, by releasing, and by affirming the what you're seeking.
Yeah. So my listeners, go and check the app. This is a beautiful app and go and test it. And I hope so that I will be doing it too because I also sometimes need that.
course.
And
I need them. I use them every day. The only reason I've created all the products that I have is because I needed that help and there wasn't any on the market.
yeah,
so,
yeah,
so
that's true. I love that. And thank you for bringing that high frequency love into every day. That is so needed. And thank you for grounding it so clearly. So, like you have created tools like Empower Me, that is Little Aim and Big E, and Me Journals. How does technology become a spiritual companion in your work?
I think that there is no conflict between science and spirituality. I think science is catching up to explain spirituality. I think we live in a beautiful time to be able to see that. Now that the regular Newtonian physics, which does have room, is giving way and expands to Einsteinian physics and quantum physics, the understanding that we're all one is becoming palpably proved. It's no longer a woo theory. And so I love working with technology because just like you would tune in to a frequency of a radio, you can tune in to the frequency of a thought. You know, now they have devices that you can land airplanes with the power of the thought. While we were kind of ahead of time for the emotional healing, so the app is created to tune in to the energy of the thought. And so for me, it is a joyful, joyful time to be applying the ancient principles of healing and of peace using the practical, innovative tools. It's really joyful.
Yeah, yeah. I think we need such technologies to use for our emotional health also, because uh, till this day, technology and spirituality, some people think that these two are very different things, but you are doing a great job to combine them two and to say that these two are not different. We can use technology for our spiritual healing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I am really flattered for this. So, do you believe digital tools can deepen and not distract from our inner connection?
I believe anything and everything can either deepen or distract based on our ability to monitor and moderate. I think, for example, let's look at meditation. Meditation is proven to be a great benefit. But if it becomes your escapism, if you meditate and don't take action, now meditation is harmful. And so having a digital tool to attune you to healing is powerful. But if you're now sitting on Instagram and you're browsing nonstop and your brain is shooting dopamine, and all of a sudden you feel depressed and you don't know why, because you've overtaxed your dopamine receptors with, with funny with release of the hormone, and then there's nothing in your life to prove and support it. And so you can be equally repressed and depressed or inspired and supported. It's all in which way you use that.
Yeah, I think this happened to me also. Like sometimes I just scroll Instagram or maybe some social media, and I was very happy, and suddenly I feel that I have nothing. I have no support. I'm depressed, but I didn't know the reasons. So thank you for sharing this. And I think especially the young audience and also all kind of audience will be helpful with this insight that you have shared, and that is very nice.
I
Uh,
think so. I think if you, for whatever your age or use of the platforms is, we're heavily addicted to them. And addiction doesn't make one peaceful. And so if you wanted to do a social experiment with yourself, lock your phone up and don't use it for one day and see the turmoil and the loss of peace. It's just a sign of addiction. And so for me, what I've been doing is I've just been blocking the time to use it proactively versus scrolling endlessly. But it's tempting. We're all human. We're all human. But trust me, the more you're on it, the more depressed you feel, the more worthless and the more restless. And we don't want that.
Yeah, that is so true. And thank you for sharing this insight. And many of your teachings involve surrendering the little aim for the big E. Can you unpack
Yeah.
what that means and how someone might begin that transition in real life?
So When you look at our products and services, you will see that it all have me, little m, big E. And that's how I ask all of us to remember who we are. When I say I am me, I remember that I'm a little m. I am mortal matter that manifests materially. How do I know? I eat and I poop. If you no longer eat and poop, you don't have an M. You're just an E. But as long as you eat and poop, you have this matter and it
Yeah.
needs to manifest materially. And there's no shame in it. But we also are the big E, the eternal energy, the essence of
Mm.
expansion. And they're going to be either in conflict or in surrender. And so if you don't pay attention to the screams of little am, it's going to sabotage your expansion. And so every day, in every way, you want to, there are two voices in you. It's the truth. There's a scared voice of your little am, and there's a sacred voice of your big E. And you get to choose every day which voice you listen to. And the voice you listen to is the voice that dictates your life. So, one of the free tools we developed that's really amazing to shift from one to another is you can find as a quantum leap ebook at mygiftoffer.com. We have a very simple goal. We want 1 million people to be helped through this free tool. So, if it helps you, I ask share with everybody. And what
Yeah.
it has 50 limitations with 50 expanding program and a technique to shift you from one to the other. And then if you struggle with money in any way, there is a very affordable program on money mastery, but you don't have to purchase it to have a free quantum experience.
Okay. Okay. So I'll try to attach all the details and the website and also your app's details below the podcast so that our user can find them very easily and they don't have to look somewhere. And I will ask our listener also that if you find that uh, tools useful for you, then share with your friends and make a community, make a healthy community.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And with so much fear and uncertainty globally, what does a quantum leap to peace look like on a collective level, and what role can each of us play?
It's very important to understand the word quantum leap. In quantum mechanics, you have everything starts with the biological life starts with an atom. There is a proton and neutron in the middle, and there's little electron that is flying around, moving around. And so it keeps moving and moving and moving and moving and moving and moving, doing its thing, doing its thing, doing its thing. And then at some point, there is a photon of light that comes into that system. And while the electron is moving, the photon of light hits it and carries it to the new level. Now, think of what it means. It means everything you knew you are leaving behind. Everything you've done now is broken through and broken apart. A lot of people are trying to hold their pieces together
Mm.
when the time has come to simply fall apart. A part of a piece is finding peace and complete breakthrough because that is the foundation for the quantum leap. So, as things are starting to break apart, letting them, because the unbreakable part of you is ready to leap to the next level. So I'm actually thrilled, not in a lack of compassion way, but in an understanding of what's happening to the planet right now. It's breaking apart. We can't hold any longer the ancient limiting regimes. And yes, there's wars and bloodsheds and violence, but it is shaking because it's breaking apart. And once the dust settles, humanity will have an ability to leap into a new consciousness.
Yeah, I think that's a very deep insight, but you have painted that so beautifully and so clearly. I think that will help our listeners also to understand this because quantum peace isn't a very easy thing to understand, but you have explained it in a beautiful way, in a very clear way. So, thank you for that. And Victoria, do you think peace is our natural state? And if it, then what keeps us from remembering it?
I think being out of center, Peace is our natural state when we're centered. I think the best example for that is the tornado or, the hurricane. We call it the eye of a hurricane. So peace is not avoidance of chaos. Chaos is definition of movement that is raw and needs to be organized. But if you are in the eye of the hurricane or tornado, if you're in the middle of it, it is peaceful. But when you lose your center, you then go to the outside of the hurricane and it's destructive. It is beating you and it is beating others. So I think the lack of peace is an indicator that you're out of center. And so you want to center. How do you center? You center by not complaining, comparing, or criticizing. It's that easy. Because when you are comparing yourself to anybody else, you're no longer in center because you forgot you came to be you and you have one job. Find how to be the best you today. You're looking at somebody else and you're either thinking you're better than they are or worse than they are. Better than they are, criticism, complaining. Worse than they are, lack of self esteem. And so when you compare yourself, which is a natural state of competition, you're going to say, I send nothing but love to this situation. I send love to them. I send love to me. And literally witness, like imagine the energy of love going to all. And then put your hand, one hand on the heart, one hand on the solar plexus, and say, and now I remember who I am, the love and the light that I am. I am in my center. And so the more you center yourself out of complaining, criticizing, and comparing, the more peaceful you become to be the person you've come to be. The more expanding your peace is, the more contagious your significance is, and the brighter your light. And that is a journey.
Yeah, and that is wonderful. And I think me and our listener, I think everyone will be so thankful to you because the topic that we have spoke about today, it's not a very easy thing, but you have painted that so beautifully. And I think this will help all kind of age group and everyone. I think this podcast will help everyone because somehow we all are lost, or sometime we are not in a peaceful state, or we are finding something, we are comparing ourselves to something, and that is affecting our peace. So this podcast, I think, help everyone. And you thank you so much for telling so much insight to us and for guiding us so much. And so if our listeners want to connect with you, what is the best way?
I think you can find anything about us on our site, you2shine.com, number two, shine.com. I respond to every email. So if you email me or you find me on IG, I will respond to your question. I think for your own journey, first go to mygiftoffer.com and get a free quantum leap, and then go to empowerme.love and get the app. And it will give you the foundation at a maximum of $20 a year to start your journey. And then as you are stepping into your own worth, we will be able to suggest other products and services that can support you on your journey. But I'm a firm believer that you've got to start at a point that you can afford. I don't believe in stretching and putting yourself in debt and calling it a leap of faith. It's more like a leap of panic. So
Yeah. So I will make sure to attach all the links and all the details below so our listeners can find that easily. And with that, we have come to the end of this podcast. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for sharing so much information with our listeners. And for our listeners, peace isn't passive; it's the most radical quantum act of love. We can choose. Tonight, Dr. Victoria Rader reminded us that transformation begins in thought, expands through energy, and roots in divine grace. So, whether you are journaling your way forward or simply taking one conscious breath, know this: your light is not small, and your peace can ripple wide. Until next time, may your mind be still, your heart be full, and your soul continue to shine.